I'm Al Noe, and today we are going to talk about the Garmin Catalyst, which is a really exciting new product from our friends at Garmin. It is a track video recorder, data recorder, and also driving coach, which is unlike anything that we've ever had in the market. This device is very, very easy to install. Garmin gives you everything you need in the box. It's got a suction cup mount. Right now we have mounted to our toolbox just for display purposes, but this gets mounted inside the windshield. There's a small camera that you put inside the car, and then you have cables that connect everything up. We'll show you how to do all that later, but it's super simple to install. Once you install the Garmin Catalyst, it gives you a few options of things that you can do. The owner's manual is completely inside of this unit. So once you get the unit hooked up, the camera's in place, you have everything the way that you want it, you can go into the settings function. From the settings function, it gives you choices like owner's manual, system updates, Garmin Connect accounts, which allows you to compare lap times to other Garmin customers, and then it gives you Wi-Fi settings as well. Once the device is set up, the next thing you do is you click the drive feature. This is one of the coolest features of this device. This has, I believe, over 1,000 racetracks loaded in it. So if you scroll through this screen, you can either scroll by just rolling the screen like that, or you can go to the search function. But it has every track that I'm familiar with. We tested this device at Pit Race a few weeks ago. Garmin was nice enough to send us a very early production unit, and we actually tested the device on the C8 Corvette behind me. Some of you might be wondering, why in the world are they using this device on a car that's got a performance data recorder? Doesn't the Corvette have everything in it that you need? The huge advantage that the Garmin has is the factory data recorder will give you a lot of data and a lot of information, but it's up to you to analyze it. So you need to see what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and where you need to improve. The Garmin device, as I'll show you in a minute, is awesome. It does all of that for you. So we'll go through a session that we recorded at Pit Race. I'll show you the really neat features of this product, and then we'll go through a lap segment by segment, and you can see exactly how it works. So once you've recorded a data session, the next question is, how do I look at it on the Garmin device and what will it tell me? So if you go back to that home screen and you click the review button, it'll tell you what your last session was. It'll give you some information about the lap, the date, the time, all those type of things. If you click into that, this is really neat. This is where all the magic happens. So all the white lines are what is viewed as an opportunity by the Garmin device. These are areas that I could improve in over at Pit Race. This tells me what my best lap was, what an optimal lap would be based on my driving style and the vehicle that I'm driving, a number of other things, the total time, sequential variation, track conditions, etc. So there's a lot of neat features in here. If we click on the opportunities button, this is where everything gets really, really interesting. So you can see this little small cursor is going through that segment of the course where the device is telling me that you're leaving some time on the table. The purple line is what the optimal line is if I was to go around that corner. The white line is my average. So the neat thing about this is I can zoom in on that segment and I can get really, really specific about those exact areas and take a look at what I'm missing and what I need to do better. That is a pretty awesome feature. And that is actually recorded data from me in the car at the session at Pit Race. If you want to view the segment, it'll also give you a video overview that you can click on that and watch the video as I'm going through that segment. And then it'll also give me a number of other variables that you can analyze as well. If I want to look at position, this will tell me where exactly on the track I need to be and when. If you go into speed, it actually gives you your entry speed, minimum speed, exit speed, and then straightaway maximum speed, which was before this because it was the front straight at pit. And then also it gives you acceleration and deceleration, telling you other things that you can do. So that area, the opportunities area of this device to me, is clearly the thing that sets this device apart from everything else that's out in the market right now. This will also give you your lap times, and I know there's other lap timers on the market that will give you incremental times. They'll show you, here's your best lap, here's how you did. This does the same thing as that. But this also, again, gives you the video component of it and then all this additional data that you can analyze as you're going through the laps as you do it. Again, it'll break it down segment by segment. This is segment 13 on the track. I did pick up about a second and a half from the first session to the last session at pit race. So essentially, by watching the video, by looking at some of these corners and knowing that in certain areas I could carry more speed, I could brake a little bit later, I could accelerate harder out of a corner, it was a very, very helpful thing for me to be able to take a look at. So now we're going to walk you through the video that's captured as well as the coaching features of the Garmin device at one of the typical laps at pit race when I went through it. So essentially, if you go into review your laps, you hit the play button. Obviously with the windows down, you'll get a little bit of wind noise as the car's going around the track, but you should be able to hear the driving coach when you go through certain corners. Neat thing about this, if you execute a corner really well, the coach will tell you nice work. If you need to brake earlier, it'll tell you that. Brake later, it will tell you that. Turn in, track out farther, all those things. So let's watch this lap.
Nice work. Next left, turn the right.
So one other really neat feature of the Garmin Catalyst is this will allow you to take one of your laps. You can pick any lap from a session that you have, and you can compare it to what Garmin will piece together as being the optimal lap. Now that optimal lap is pieced together based on other laps that you've done, your driving style, your car on that track. So effectively what it does is it points out if I do everything perfectly, this will be the lap time that I should be able to achieve. So for me personally, I know there are certain areas in the track that I need to improve. You can follow the basically the lines around the track. You can also analyze your speed in different areas of the track that are highlighted by the green, orange, red gradients all the way around the track. And then also you can look at your acceleration and deceleration within different points of the track. So again, a really neat feature that lets you take a look and say, I've got some areas to improve. And I know me personally at pit race, there were 2 areas that I worked on that day to improve. I did get a little bit faster. And again, it definitely made me a better driver. So I can say I do think this product has a lot of value. I also want to comment, whether you have a late model vehicle or an early muscle car, I have a 67 Camaro that I used to use a GoPro in. I also used a couple different apps that were lap timer apps, and trying to coordinate my lap timer app with the GoPro, get everything recorded. And then once you have all that, trying to stitch all that together, it's pretty challenging and it can be difficult. For a car like that that has absolutely zero data acquisition in it, a product like this is really a great addition. At $9.99, it may seem a little bit expensive, but think about what you spend on a set of tires or your safety gear or your car itself. In my opinion, this device, it provides an awful lot of value for what you get. So for our video today, we're going to show you how to install the camera, how to install the Garmin unit on the windshield. We're not going to get into all the details about how to secure these wires and get them out of the way. Garmin gives you some very, very nice clips. Obviously, you want them to be out of the driver's way. You want them to be out of the way of being able to go outside of the cockpit of the car in any circumstance whatsoever. We're not going to get into all that today because everybody's going to have a preference on how they mount these and where they put them. But we're just going to show you how to mount the camera and also how to mount the unit itself. So once you're ready to install your Garmin device, the process is actually very, very simple. One of the tips that I can give you from my experience installing this is get all the wiring and everything hooked up, get power to the unit, and then when you press this camera button, that will actually show you the camera view as it's seeing it out of your windshield. I did not know that when I installed mine. Again, I put the unit together, went to the racetrack, went through the owner's manual, kind of learned it as I went. So hopefully this will help you out a little bit. Before you position on the windshield, the suction cup that Garmin gives you is super, super sticky. So you're going to want to move the camera around, get it in the right position. You can see that the picture is moving around as I'm adjusting the camera. get it in the right position first, and then adhere it with the adhesive suction cup that they give you. Put the unit in place, and then this is a neat feature. This tells you whether the camera is level or if you're off, and you can see right there that it's definitely not level. So you move the camera back, you get everything in place, you get it all set up, and it's as simple as that. You can adjust the camera up or down a little bit. I always like seeing the front of the car a little, so you need to adjust it down a little bit more. But essentially, that's all there is to it. Once you get the camera positioned properly, you have it in the place that you want it, this other suction cup is what holds this unit to the windshield. You basically put it in place, put it in a position where it's not going to get in your way as you are racing the car, and then this little flip lever simply flips back. That holds it in place. Really a nice mount. The whole time I was at Pit Race, I never had a problem with that coming loose. That and the camera has been in here on multiple 90+ degree days, never has come loose at all. Obviously, when I drive around the street, I don't have all this stuff hooked up. I unhook all the cables and everything and take it off and store it securely. The other thing that's really neat about this too is that when you come in from a session, if you're out at a track, you can pull this off and then you can use this, go through all your data, take a look at the laps that you're doing, and this magnet actually mounts the unit up onto the dash. So it's really, really simple to pull it out and use it as you need to. And that's all there is to it. Hopefully this was helpful to you, and hopefully you go out and go faster on track with the Garmin Catalyst.